Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is bright and early Thursday, September 4th, 2025. It's Fashion Month. All the big fashion shows across the world happening this month. And it's also the NFL kickoff today, where the NFL has a lot to do with Italian heritage. You think of the Lombardi Trophy, the one that everyone plays for each year, named after an Italian American, the son of Italian immigrants. You think of the defending Super Bowl champions and their head coach, Nick Sirianni, an Italian American. And again, on the day of this kickoff, Giorgio Armani is dead. And on the surface, this would seem more than likely coincidental that Armani, obviously an Italian, would be dead as the NFL season kicks off. But that's where the knowledge of letters and numbers, which comes from Kabbalah, shows you what's really going on. And that this man's passing at 91, a relatively old age, on the day of the NFL kickoff, it's not an accident. And if you doubt that, pay attention for the next minute and get back to me a minute from now. So notice, today is the 56th day of Armani's age, the day that he's passed. And his name in Gematria, that's the Kabbalistic practice of coining numbers into words, it equals 56. And if you're new here, that's a very special number. I pretty much wrote a book about that number 5 years ago, if you haven't read it. It's a very special to two powerful secret societies, the Jesuits, who operate out of Italy, and the Masons, who operate worldwide, including in Italy. But yes, Armani 56. And now what's really interesting about this is Armani was founded in 1975 during the 56th NFL season. So if you're new here, you get this value by just taking the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. You add up the letters as numbers to get the value of 56. You can also run the alphabetic order in reverse. Z is 1, back to A is 26. And this is where this gets really interesting. He is dead on the opening day of the 106th NFL season. And when you run Armani in reverse, it equates to 106. By the way, before I get any further than this, shout out to King Henry. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, King Henry. You might have seen King Henry out on the streets of America 5 years ago, pounding pavement with me, holding up signs about the 56 virus that took the world. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you must have amnesia. But trust me, everything that went on in 2020 as they locked down the world, it was all about the 56. So this number's way bigger than Armani. But yes, he founded his clothing line during the 56th NFL season and is now dead on the opening day of the 106th season. Think about how perfect that is. Don't forget what they did to poor Jim Irsay, who died 106 days ago. You know, the Indianapolis Colts owner. They announced his death right before Knicks Pacers tipped off for the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the Pacers upset the Knicks. Stuff happens all the time. It's going to happen many more times. I've been documenting this exact kind of stuff now for over 12 years. Sometimes it's a lot more obvious than this because it's a sports star directly connected to the sport that's about to enter its season, or, you know, the playoffs or a championship. Sometimes, you know, the Yankees World Series at the kickoff, and the rap producer who always is known for wearing a Yankees cap is announced dead minutes before the first pitch is thrown. But this is the same thing here. Armani, Italian heritage. And again, you guys, all of pro sports are rigged, and we all know who set up Vegas, people of Italian heritage. They call them the mob, right? And here's just the other piece where Armani does fit in with pro sports in the NFL. When you turn on the game today, before the game starts, are they not going to show you guys the athletes strutting in with their suitcases and their outfits? And are you not going to hear things like, oh, yeah, you know, Hurts? I didn't necessarily know that Hurts is going to be wearing the Armani today, but if somebody is wearing Armani, you'll probably hear somebody on TV call out, oh, yeah, he's in the $10,000 Armani today, looking fresh. I mean, this stuff goes on before every game. Anyone who watches sports knows this is the case. These guys strutting into the building in their clothes, their fancy clothes, a lot of them. Some of them dress as casual as I do right now, but some will be coming in very expensive clothing. And again, you guys, about who runs the world. I mean, are not all the super expensive clothing brands out of Italy the same one that really gave you the idea of religion and the church and, you know, Rome, which created government as we know it, all the things that control people's minds. Think about it, you guys. I mean, these are not the things that control people's minds: government, religion, culture. And that's where these fashion labels can charge so much. You know, their threads really might not be worth more than, you know, it's something you could pick up at JCPenney by all that much, but you're paying exponentially more because of that brand, that Italian brand that's been branded into your mind. And again, a lot of stuff gets validated by the celebrities wearing it. The football players wearing it in the stadium, the rappers rapping about it. But yeah, poor Armani, 56th day of his age, as Fashion Month kicks off, when he started his brand during the 56th NFL season. I know I'm being redundant, but we got to make this stick. Dead the day the 106th season kicks off. And now him and Jim Irsay can talk about it in the afterlife, how they got the raw deal for this football season. Remember in the Jim Irsay article, they had to point out that he started out with horse racing in Baltimore, like where the Colts came from, and it was right after the race had just happened, the horse race, the big horse race for the year in Baltimore. You know, the Preakness, this mockery. It's mockery. Now, if you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language, and I just want to make sure we have it all the way here. I want you to understand this. I learned about this again in the 1926 book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. The man who built this website found my work. He built this website to make, you know, this stuff a flash. These are the 4 base ciphers of the English language as discussed in The Secret Teachings of All Ages from 1926. The alphabetic order. A is 1 up to Z is 26. That's where Armani is 56. The alphabetic order with numerology applied. You're just using the alphabetic order and applying numerology to each letter. You can still see A through I, the first 9 letters are 1 through 9. J, the 10th letter, becomes 1 plus 0 is 1. So J becomes 1. K, the 11th letter, becomes 1 plus 1 is 2. All the way up to Z, the 26th letter, becomes 2 plus 6 is 8. Armani in that cipher is 29. Running the alphabetic order in reverse, Armani is 106. And running it in reverse with numerology, it's 43. And notice, football and Armani, perfect overlap in the reduction ciphers, 29 and 43. Okay? So we got 56th day of his age. Business began during the 56th NFL season. Dead on the opening day of the 106th season. Looks pretty obvious that it's about the football season. Football overlaps with Armani. So we got a 4 for 4 here. Again, there happens to be 3 guys in the world of professional football right now named Armani. One plays for the Chiefs, who lost the Super Bowl last year. Another plays for the Bucks, where Brady went down to at age 43 and won a Super Bowl. Don't forget, Florida equals 43, and he took over in the time of number 43, who got elected in Florida, where his brother was the 43rd governor and their daddy was the 43rd vice president. We were back in Iraq like his daddy was back in office. Remember how it all came together? Had a lot to do with 43. Patriot Act. Then all of a sudden the Patriots are so great for 20 years. Brady's even winning Super Bowls at 43. Don't forget who told you that he'd beat the Chiefs before the season even began. But yeah, anyway, we got 3 Armanis playing in pro football. NFL also has the Gematria 49. The majority of the world writes today, 4th of September, 4-9. The Eagles are hosting Dallas to open the season. Nick Sirianni, Italian-American, coaching the Eagles, defending champions. 4-9 like Dallas. They're the defending Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl 49. Just to show you, it's not an arbitrary number. 49 is the 33rd composite number. The word Scottish equals 49. The highest degree of the Scottish Rite is 33. American football is credited to Walter Camp, a Skull and Bones member, modeled after the Bavarian Illuminati, an Italian word, founded by a Jesuit, Adam Weishaupt, the 56 gang. But yeah, Scottish, again, 49. Walter Camp, Scottish Rite Freemason, member of Skull and Bones, also known as the Brotherhood of Death, as they add another skull to their collection. And yeah, just all the fashion shows this month. Right now, he dies during Tokyo Fashion Week. September 11th, New York Fashion Week begins. London Fashion Week begins on September 18th. Milan Fashion Week begins September 23rd. Paris Fashion Week begins September 29th. So the major fashion month, a major fashion designer is dead right at the beginning of. And then about today being the day, leaving 118 days left in the year. It's a fateful day. There's usually something like this in the news on this day annually, as we've covered year after year. Something known as Jewish Gematria, which Derek renamed Latin on his calculator. We can also call it the Agrippa's Key cipher. the person who's responsible for the ciphers named Agrippa. But death and homicide 118. And that is a very fateful pattern. We're coming up on the Tupac death anniversary, September 13th. He died on Caesar Borgia's birthday, where White Jesus comes from. Then they rushed out the album Machiavelli. Caesar Borgia was the subject of The Prince, written by Machiavelli. And don't forget, they put out that album with Tupac on the cross looking like Jesus on the anniversary of the Jesuits are trying to assassinate King James. Some people say King James was actually black. And I do wonder about it a little bit. It's like, the white Jesus thing, King James, it is all interesting to think about. But we'll save that for another time. Anyway, yeah, I mean, if you think all this stuff's a coincidence, I can't fix stupid. You know, that's the one problem. This knowledge can't quite fix stupid, but it can pull a lot of people out of a coma. And there'll be a lot more of this. There might even be more of this later today. One other thing I gotta say, I was planning to do a live stream today at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 Eastern, to talk about everybody who leaves comments that all of this stuff is just the way the universe operates. Like some people today think this is just the way the universe operates, and there's no manipulation here. This is just the way nature unfolds. Of course, nature unfolds to a calendar that was given to us by the Catholic Church out of Italy, that's credited to a Jesuit priest out of Italy. Again, these people also, it's, you can't fix stupid. But I was going to have a stream today and let these people call in about why they think all of this stuff is just the universe unfolding organically, which really we don't even need to hear from. But I can't do that today because I have to go deal with the hack on my financial accounts again, as I discussed last night. So I'm going to postpone that stream until next Tuesday because I'll be busy until then. So next Tuesday, if you really want to call in and let me know why you think all this stuff is just organic, it's just the universe unfolding according to the Jesuits' plan. Now, the closest I could get to agreeing with you is, since the Jesuits are responsible for the language and the calendar and their numbers are all over all these rituals, it's just like Vince Lombardi. Do you think Vince Lombardi died naturally when he died? If you guys don't know how Vince Lombardi died, he died unexpectedly one day before the 1970 NFL season began, which was a major season. It was the season the two leagues merged, and died unexpectedly where? Oh, at Jesuit Georgetown. And where's Georgetown at? It's in Washington, D.C. Hey, for all you guys who think everything's organic right now, remember the Jesuits set up camp in D.C. before the feds were even there, 56 land, and Washington, D.C. is 56 and 187, like Society of Jesus. For all you guys who think this is organic, why don't you look up how many members of Congress right now are Jesuit educated? You can actually look that up. The Jesuits have a website bragging about it. They got 56. 56 are members of the Society of Jesus. Must just be the universe. Yeah. But I bet it's just the universe. So anyway, we'll have to save your guys' calls for next Tuesday, assuming there's not more delays. But anyway, we already know your debate's completely wrong. And all I'm really trying to do is help pull you guys out of your coma. So, again, you think all this is about just the universe? Pull your head out of your ass. It's not. Jim Irsay just dead right after the big horse race in Baltimore. And every first paragraph says he got his start with horse racing in Baltimore. And he just happened to be dead 106 days before the season. Announced 15 minutes before the Pacers tipped off when he supposedly owned, and don't forget he died at 65, right? Yeah, he was very connected to Prince's death by the numbers, which wasn't the universe. He's a horse racing guy. A bunch of other stuff to it. Dead at 65. Pretty young age for a billionaire. Could have gotten access to all the best health treatment in the world. So, anyway. I got to get back to work, you guys. I wasn't planning to do a video this early, but yeah. R.I.P. to Mr. Armani. Obviously, his name's not going anywhere. With inflation, they'll be wearing $100,000 suits into the stadium this year. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Until next time.